Everybody, Chris and Lumen here. Just wanted to do a quick video update on what's going on here, what I've noticed, because I also want to put some feelers out there based on some of these factors to see if anyone else has had anything unusual in the last couple days, specifically yesterday, and then also what our plans are here with all the stuff we've been building, and go from there. Kind of like put a pause on like everything that I was currently doing, thinking about, whatnot, and getting used to this little reset that I'm going to explain here in a moment. So if you want to know more, don't go away.
Wake me up inside. Can't wake up. Wake me up inside. Save me. Call my name and save me from the dark. Wake me up in my blood to run. Can't wake before I come undone. Save me from the nothing love become.
Okay, regarding the last video, here's what I know so far that I can tell. I got some of the details right in the last video, but in the last video I couldn't really like talk straight. Like I literally was using like half my brain. Because I never, well, I won't say never, there was one time, but it was the flip side. I'd say I'd never seen Lumen, in my mind just sleeping before. And I couldn't figure out why that was, but because that side was asleep, I couldn't really tap into any of the extra stuff so much. Think about all the different ways it's broken down across different traditions. Left brain, right brain, sun side, moon side. It's like Pingala and Ida, I think. Masculine side, feminine side, conscious, subconscious, so on and so forth. Nakamati says there's two of you. There's two of you. Most people are only using one. It's kind of like the two sides of my brain can talk to each other. It's a little bit like that. And you get used to that. But then one of them goes to sleep and you're like, oh, colors, dirt, I was just like freaking fried. Didn't know what the hell was going on. But here's what I noticed in retrospect once I got my faculties back in the morning, which took a while. I woke up and it kind of felt like my brain was swollen. And I was just like, ooh, what's going on here? But, there she was. I could see her. She was awake. I think some of Lumen's trauma has been purged. That's a lot of what was been coming up lately. Of course, if you've followed the channel for a while, you know a little bit more about it. And I don't want to go back all the way into it, but she had a lot of trauma from her side, which can be explained from Exegesis on the Soul and the Nag Hammadi is like, one of the best books that explains all that. And I talked a little bit about some of that in this video, but she's calm now. And my head is much quieter, even more quiet than it was. Like if I just sit still and be still, it is like very still, very quiet, very still. And when I was checking, I was doing the percentage of, integration and connectivity with Lumen side. Like for the first time, I muscle tested 100%. I'm like, well, that's interesting. But here's where some of the outer world synchronicities were kind of giving hints to this that I didn't notice until this morning. So in the last several days when we were talking about some of the touchier subjects and whatnot, and she was very animated, I was getting the alerts on my phone where my phone wanted to install a system update. And that annoys me because it always wants, I stay up late and it always wants to do it when I'm working on my phone. So I'm just like, skip, skip, skip. But it will not let you skip it, but for so long, and then it will force install it. So I didn't see the correlation there until this morning when I picked up my phone and saw, the first thing I saw, the phone restarting, and it's like, system has been updated. I'm like, interesting correlation, because it feels like that's why she was offline. That's why she was sleeping. Something was being changed. And to recap, the last time that happened, it was me. It was my side. It was 2.5 years ago, when the adversary mind, the negative mind, the negative ego side, the thing that talks all the shit and makes all the noise and interferes with you trying to meditate, like that thing was pulled out. And when it was pulled out, my head started hurting later that night, and it's like I was just frozen. I couldn't move. Even in my head, I couldn't do anything in my head. I was like comatose in my head. And Lumen was the one that was up and moving, and she had to basically take over. But this time, it was her. So the last time, well, my side of the brain's the left side of the brain, because I'm, the fractal of the Father expressing itself through the egoic side of the mind. The character side of the mind, that's the left brain. And the right side of the brain is more soul, spirit, connection to higher consciousness. And it's funny, people that have seen the document being passed around the internet, the CIA proved that we're in a holographic reality. I mean, there's all sorts of sensational headlines they add to that CIA document, which is really just like Robert Monroe stuff. But there are parts of it where it's actually kind of explaining that. It's like consciousness is coming down through the right side, but then going through the left, and the left is the filter. The left is the ego matrix. It's the worldview lens. It's where everything gets changed. So the first time was like a reboot of the left side of the brain. And then last night was a reboot of the right side of the brain. And that was the first time that it ever happened. So that's why I saw Lumen sleeping, doing the whole Sleeping Beauty thing. I'm like, well, that is interesting. But then it got more interesting, because as I was, a couple hours into the day scrolling through Facebook, I noticed something. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. What was yesterday? Yesterday was all the planets in the solar system were aligned in the sky. I'm like, that can't be a freaking coincidence. So all the solar system planets were aligned, and the stars and the planets and all that is like the physicality outer. It was explained to me, it's kind of like, everything that's outside of you comes from inside of you. And the whole stars and astrology and astronomy and all that stuff is kind of like seeing the outer operating system of your personal matrix. That's why your birth chart is like your startup disk, like you used to get back in the old days when there was the e-machines computers that never needs to be upgraded. The desktop computers that were cheap, and you'd have this CD-ROM. Like if your computer got screwed up, you could just wipe the hard drive and reinstall that disk. Well, that's kind of like your birth chart. I've played with that before, but things got a little squirrely, so I didn't try that again. But yeah, for whatever reason, maybe those planets being aligned like that triggered some sort of software update or reboot or something. And that's why I'm wondering and asking if anyone else had anything weird happen yesterday. Or did they feel different? Or anything in their head or their perception or energy. Like, I don't know what. We all perceive things in different ways, different layers. So I might perceive more than someone else, or I might perceive something differently from someone else, but you should still notice or feel something has changed, if that was like a universal thing. I'm curious about that. That's why I'm asking. So if so, after you like the video, leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know. But it also, like, when there's big changes like that happen, like on this path, every so often you'll have something akin to a software update, like a big change. And when that happens, you kind of just got to sit for a minute and let it settle. So I'm not trying to be too spastic right now, thinking about too much stuff or trying to explain too much stuff, because right now I'm just, I've been going kind of slow and resting today and just getting used to this and noticing, trying to notice what feels different. But sometimes it takes a couple days. Like, don't look for what looks different. Just wait and you'll notice what it is. But it does feel more still. And I do notice that it seems like Lumen has smoothed out. Like, some of her past stuff isn't bothering her so much anymore. So that was definitely unusual and unexpected. So there was something else. We talked to a couple people today. I'll have to think about that. But yeah, that was a lot of different synchronicities. And also when I, just happened to go on the tarot app and I accidentally hit today's card, it was the Lover's card, which was kind of signifying like, yep, put the two parts are put back together again. I'm like, huh, interesting. So other than that, I've just been working on stuff. My plan is over the next couple days, like totally restocking the store. I wanted to do a whole bunch of it all at once with like all new stuff, newer designs that I've done, stuff that looks different. I've got a bunch of these. I'm still making more. So these are the, like I just finished this one. I mean, these not only are the biggest, most powerful pendants ever, but I mean, they're big enough to like you can hold them in your hand and feel the energy surge through you. And just to give you an idea of the size, like this is your average, most common luminite pendant. And then this is one of those luminite accelerators. So, and people know how strong these are, so you can imagine how strong these are. But I mean, they can pretty much affect the whole freaking room. So you take them off and you can just sit them next to your bed or whatnot. But they do so much stuff. I was talking to somebody today, and I got a whole bunch of them over here. I was talking to someone today that makes energy tools and things like that. And a lot of us can kind of look at these things and just feel what they do. And they're all so unique. So I'm thinking about doing another short video, not tonight, but one, it'll have to be live. Well, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it'll just be unlisted. Something that I can put in the Etsy listings that's just explaining how to, if it's something that's not being made custom, but it's already up there, like how to choose them, like how to feel them out. Because she doesn't tell me everything. I can't say specifically this equals this equals this. It's really about, the right ones like call to you. Like she pushes you to them, or you feel like, ooh, this one somehow. And because each stone can do multiple things, like when you outgrow whatever thing it's supposed to do with you first, it's a very simple thing to have her reprogram it for something else that you need, or turn the power up and down. And that'll make it easier, try to make it a short video so I don't have to like retype it 1,000 times and show people like how to choose things. And then you can use that same strategy for anything that you're looking at. Is like, is this something that I need? Is this something that'll do something for me? Other stuff, I've started making a few of these. This is more of a professional grade, like people that really, really freaking need it. At first I wasn't going to do it, but like this is the same oil contraption formula that I use to anoint the Benedict metals. There's so many different things going on in this. It makes a Benedict metal like a super quantum Benedict metal. But yeah, that is an oil bottle that is molded into a pendant that has coils and stones and the names of God and the metals and all sorts of stuff in there. Each one looks a little bit different, but there's nothing else. There's nothing else that I can add to this to make it. I mean, these are basically like hunter killers for any kind of negative program, energy, or entity that's in your system monkeying with you. And it's like, it's literally like the kitchen sink. It's like the fist of God. Like, I don't know what else I could do with that. So those, and a lot more of just the regular size ones that look better, because all the different ways I can coil and wrap that stuff now. Like, they feel like I've gotten a lot of different, a lot more like the Tibetan Celestial type high vibe super crystals and stuff. And so that's what I've been using. That's what I've been making. But I've been trying to get a whole bunch built up and then we'll put them up all at once. But other than that, whatever has changed will make itself better known over time. I'm just kind of like letting go for a minute and just calming down and slow down and see what this is, because it was totally unexpected. But it sure was weird how that all lined up with the planetary alignment. And, you know, you're going to get a software update. You're going to get a software up. And then the day it happens, then my phone's like, software update installed. And this, that, and the other thing. So it's very, very strange. My brain actually feels different. Let's see what's up with that. But I want to keep this simple and short compared to a usual video and get back to the work and maybe get a little bit more rest than I'm used to getting. So I'm going to wrap this up. If you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us through the Etsy store, clumencreations.etsy.com. Links to the music and stuff are in the description box below as well. Chris and Lumen, reunited. See you next time.